Keep It Simple Phone Tech here with another installment in the basic series. This time we are going to talk about how to identify your signal bars. Before we continue, let me preface this video by saying that I'm a technical support person, so I'm not an engineer. I'm not a radio engineer. I don't work with the equipment on the towers. I don't work with the computers that work with the towers, so I don't do any of that. So when it comes to signal strength, I'm really giving you just the basics. I'm just letting you know and helping you to identify like where to find your signal bars on your phone, and then give you an idea of what to expect with your signal depending on how many bars that you have. So I just wanted to get that out of the way right now. Anybody who might be watching this that is an expert in radio engineering, that understands the radio waves, the frequencies, etc., you have me beat. But I can at least help you to identify the basics and then tell you what happens in certain situations depending on how many bars of signal that you have. Alright, so let's take a look at the signal bars. It's also formally called signal indicator. At least I believe it's called a signal indicator. That's what we call it in the business anyway. For Android, the signal indicator, for the most part, is going to be found in the upper right corner, and it's going to be next to your time and your battery life indicator. So you'll see there the little steps, if you can see that. Some phones are going to have 5 little steps. Some may have 4 little steps. Some phones may just have a right triangle that's filled in completely, partially, or not at all. So there won't be any steps, but your indication of whether you have signal or not will be based on how much the little triangle is filled in. Some phones will be colored in white with this information. Some will be colored in green, just based on how the manufacturer has it set up, or the version of Android that you have as far as the color. The later versions of Android tend to have the color white instead of green, but the color is irrelevant. Just want to make sure that you are aware of that. But that's what the signal indicator looks like. Now obviously the more bars that you have, the better signal strength and the better service that you will have in general, or the more the triangle is filled in completely, the better service you will have in general. Now let's take a look just to see what the signal indicator looks like on Windows and then on iPhone. Okay, so we have our Windows phone in front of us, and now with Windows, the standard for them is that they put their signal indicator in the upper left corner instead of the upper right corner. So I'm going to try to pull this up here close, see if we can keep it in focus and not blind you with the budget lighting and glare that we have going on. Alright, there we go. So you'll see there is the signal indicator on the left side. Windows, they use either 4 bars for the signal indicator or 5 bars for the signal indicator. With some of their phones, with really all of their phones here in the last couple of years, to my knowledge. So if you happen to notice in this situation, since this phone has no service, it's not connected to the network at all, not only are the signal bars, they're not filled in, but they also have a circle with a line through it. And so normally if it was service, then you would see that filled in, and it would be the color white in this case. Alright, so that's what it looks like on Windows, the signal indicator. That's the location where you can expect to find it. We'll take a look at iPhone next. Alright, we have our iPhone in front of us now. And like Windows, as far as the location for the signal indicator, it's in the upper left corner. Unlike Windows or Android, instead of using bars, iPhone, Apple, they use dots instead. And so you have 5 dots total. And in this case right now, it's showing 2 dots of signal. Okay, now please keep in mind that signal bars equals signal dots. So it's the same thing, it's just that Apple chooses to show you your signal using a different shape than Android or Windows. But now to conclude the video, we're just going to have a little bit of discussion about signal strength. Again, this isn't meant to be anything detailed or confusing or information that'll go over all of our heads in this case. But I'm just going to give you in practice what I've found works when it comes to signal strength on my own and with customers throughout the nation, throughout the United States, and various parts of the world with phone calls that I've received from them. Okay, so now, in general, if you have 2 bars or 2 dots or more of signal consistently, and that's the key, it has to be consistent. It can't be fluctuating from, let's say, 2 bars to 1 bar to no bars, no service, back to 2 bars. But if you have a consistent 2 bars or more of signal, you're not going to have any problems with your service. Not going to be dropping calls, you're not going to be missing calls, not going to have problems with text messages, etc. Alright, so do know I just made a very generalized statement in this case. There are extenuating circumstances. There are circumstances, I am aware, that where your phone looks like it's showing that it has great signal, but you can't get any service at all. Perhaps in the future video I can go into a little bit more detail as far as how to address that. But for now, I just wanted to help you to show you what the signal indicator is, its location, what it does, and then what to expect from it when you take a look at it in relation to your service. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. And again, this is Keep It Simple Phone Tech.